Hello, you guys. Welcome back. We are at episode 41 today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Big ups to 41. That is super exciting. And we are going to be coming up on our year marker. Maddie reminded
Yeah.
me of that the other day, which is so exciting. And if you need a reminder for where we started a year ago, go back and listen to
Oh,
episode one. It's probably
please
cringy.
don't. Excuse me, I didn't have time to turn off my microphone as I had like a hiccup burp. But yeah, no, I am a big proponent of always like comparing yourself to your previous, whatever journey you're in, but you could not pay me to go listen to episode one.
Yeah, you could pay me. Like how much are we talking?
Okay, depending on the price, you could
Yeah.
haggle. You could
And I
haggle.
just might like cringe the entire time, but I'll just be like, just like get that bag, girl. And I don't know. It's honestly really it's interesting because I remember after we recorded that episode, you were like, "Was that so bad?" And I was like, "No, like what like maybe it is now, but like no, it
Yeah.
wasn't." I was like, "We're gonna suck and then we're gonna get better." And you're like, "Yeah, you're right." And I was just like, it's so funny to have that like internal dialogue and just like
Mhm.
then you get to a point where you're like feeling confident. You're like, ah, who cares if it was so like whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I think like, I am someone that's like always takes time to warm up, like literally anything. I'm like I
Yeah.
take time to like get out of my shell into my inner bitch, I guess is like to call it. And I remember that first episode, I was like a mute. You're like, say hi, Manny. I was like, hi. Like,
You're like that just reminded me of if like a parent is taking a video on like their kid's
no.
birthday and they're singing happy birthday and they're just like
Oh, I hate that so much. So much.
people singing happy birthday.
Oh, I can't do it. I can't do people singing in public. I get like secondhand embarrassment really bad. Unless they're good. Like I will go down a wormhole on TikTok of like people that sing in specific genres like Frank Sinatra or
Right.
Amy Winehouse. Like I love it. Like feed me more of that jazzy blues era. I will eat it up. But if we're at a party, a bonfire, when's the last time I was at a bonfire? I don't know.
That's
Um,
very specific. When we're at a
yes.
bonfire and people start singing,
Well, there's always that like weirdo dude that like brings out his guitar and he's like
oh
strumming and singing, and I'm like,
no. No, not the guitar. It's giving
no,
like Luke from
no.
Summer House when he was
Ah!
always playing. Like,
What?
oh my God. No.
Oh,
I don't like to be sung to happy birthday, but I will sing my fucking heart out if it's someone else's birthday.
truth.
So that was Maddie.
Yep.
Episode one, she was that
Maddie the
terrified
mute.
child. Maddie.
Do you have headphones on? Because I am hearing myself.
I don't know. I don't have headphones in.
That's probably why I'm hearing like myself talking
Do you
occasionally
want me
when
to
I
put
get.
headphones in?
I only hear it if I hear it like a million more times, maybe. But I think it's
Okay.
like when I'm like screaming. So let's do a little bit of a catch up. We have some things we want to talk about. First off, Ballerina Farms. So I've seen lots of back and forth about Ballerina Farms. She put out I feel like multiple videos saying how, they felt taken advantage of by the journalist, and that she kind of had an agenda that she was pushing with how she was covering and relaying the information that she got. And some audio from a podcast came out. I don't know the date of it, but it seems like the journalist left out some information. But also, not gonna lie, I watched the video of her doing a voiceover of her day, and it
Yeah.
was kind of creepy. Not gonna lie, like someone was
Yeah.
like, "Do you have a gun to your head?" when she
It
was like
felt
saying it.
very scripted, which
Yes.
I'm sure her and her husband did script it out because
Yeah.
they have a business, they have a brand that they want to
Hmm.
convey. And whether she feels, whether I think well, two things. I think it's interesting when you do an in-person interview because the interviewer's job is to let the readers know what the vibe is in the room, right? And I
Mhm.
guess you could interpret it different ways. And I don't think that the interviewer was maybe necessarily trying to point or paint the picture in one way, but your own personal biases probably
It'd
come
be
into
hard.
place as you
Mhm.
are interviewing and writing. And
Mhm.
I thought that was kind of interesting to take a look at. And then the second part of it is we may see her life and hear her story and think about it differently than how she feels because she grew up
Mhm.
in the Mormon church. And in a way, you're indoctrinated to have a lot of children. Like, this
Mhm.
is the idea to have a lot
Mhm.
of children, to be a good
Mhm.
wife, to
Mhm.
show up in a certain way. And so,
Mhm.
from the outside looking in, we're like, wow, that's really extreme and intense. And to
Mhm.
her, that's very normal. So, I was curious, was she going to make any sort of
Oh, I
comment?
was like, they're going to. They have to. But I think two things can exist,
Yeah.
right? There can be people that are living peacefully in the Mormon culture, and that's what they truly love, and they're grandmas, and they have all the lineage back, and that's how they've been, I don't want to say brainwashed, but that's how they have been shown that's their life
Yep.
path and they enjoy that.
Yeah.
And then there are people that are also living in that world. And this could be, like I always say, I'm not against religion. I think with any culture, there is good, there is bad. I mean, religion, there is good, there is bad. But there could be people living, brought up in the Mormon culture because in Mormon, because that's the culture they were, brought up in,
Yep.
and think, I hate this. I don't want to feel like I am lesser than. I have to serve my husband. I have to have a million babies and have no identity, right? Two things can exist.
Yeah.
And, they were choosing for her. She feels that she really loves her life. That's amazing. But I don't think this wouldn't stop me personally because we talked about like we wanted to bring on some cult survivors. I
Yeah.
still want to bring on cult survivors because, again, two things can exist. There can be
Yeah.
really good parts of any religion. There can be really bad parts of any religion. But also, what does exist, and I do agree with the media saying that it was fucking creepy how her husband basically got himself on that plane and like sat next to her and like that was weird. That was
Yeah.
stalker vibes. She was saying no a million times to dating him. Like 6 months of saying
Yeah.
no. Like dude, like that's creepy. So I'm going to agree with it still is creepy.
I agree. Because there is something there's something to say about your boundary and not having
Mhm.
consent and being like, no, I
Mhm.
don't want to date you. I don't want any part of this. And he's just like, well, let me just like get on a plane. What are you talking about? That is
Yeah.
controlling and weird behavior. And so maybe she loves her life now, but that is still weird. And I'm not gonna get over the egg apron. She wanted a trip to
Yeah.
Greece. Give her the goddamn trip to Greece,
Yeah.
right? Like it's still there are still aspects of it that I find sad,
Yeah.
and the script was giving gun to your head. Read this.
Yeah.
Oh,
So again, two things can exist. She can love her life and we just don't see it because me and Allie have a certain lens, right? Or she could really be like in danger and we could be absolutely right. But hey, if you're happy and that's all that matters. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of like put a little,
do a
close
little
that loop,
follow up.
a
Yeah.
little follow up on that. Something else I sent you this on TikTok because I was like, what did I find? There's a thing called flashtok and it is so we all know how like OnlyFans exists and like Allie had a huge campaign to start her OnlyFans. That was like
Everyone, my campaign is girl, get that bag, sir, get
yeah,
that bag,
yeah,
they
yeah.
get that bag because people pay for the craziest shit. And
Yeah, I agree. I
like
agree. But
go
so
for
like
it.
using social media to like, get people to like follow and pay for your OnlyFans, whatever. But somehow I don't know how, like, they say you build your FYP like brick by brick, and FYP is like your For You page on
Yeah.
TikTok. But like I'm not looking at flash talk. Like sometimes they really do throw weird ass shit in there
Yeah.
and see how long. Now that I sent it to Allie, I bet you I'm gonna get a million like videos of flash talk. But anyway, what it was this girl like wearing overalls and not wearing a shirt underneath or a bra. Like that's fine, whatever. But dancing and her whole like nipple popped out, and I was just like, "Oh my, is this real life?" Like I was highly concerned. Sent to Allie, like Jesus Christ. So yeah, so there's a thing called flash talk. If you see one of those, just swipe by as fast as you can, or else you're going to get fed more of those. But I was surprised that was on there, weren't you?
Yeah. TikTok is super weird because
Yes, yes.
you can talk like you can post some crazy ass shit like that goes
Mhm.
against TOS, like you naked, like you're literally naked. Like that is your
What's
boob
TOS?
terms of service.
Ah.
That is literally your boob on my For You page. That is crazy. Like that was I
Yeah.
literally was like, what is this video? But I knew it was going to be something crazy. Like I saw
Uh,
overalls and no bra on or no shirt on. You know what you're getting, right? Like
yeah.
boobs are going to be flying because it's an overall. Like it okay. So that can be posted, but then certain like I guess like
Topics.
TikToks can't talk about like James Charles. Like all of the videos would get to, like especially in like
Mm.
2022, like all of the big videos got taken down. So like TikTok is weird because they like almost in a way protect certain like big influencers
Oh
and don't let
yeah,
a
for
lot of
sure.
videos get out, but then you can have like nakedness all over your For You page. I'm like, what?
It is weird. Like when I was trying to do a stitch, like,
Oh
taking a part
yeah.
of a video and then responding to it about Herbalife, my phone kept crashing. Like the same video. And then I went to a different video and it worked just like that. So
Yeah.
that is something that they do. It's kind of crazy how that works. I mean, the Chinese are brilliant, obviously, with TikTok because they created it, right? But yeah, I thought that was interesting. So it was like, get me off of Flash Talk.
I love how you're calling it flash talk. Like, was that a
That's
hashtag?
that's what they were calling it. People were
Oh
like, I
my
love Flash Talk.
God.
And I'm like, what
I'm
the hell is Flash Talk?
dead. Oh my God. That's so funny. I have seen 2 a.m. scrolling on TikTok. I have seen some of the craziest shit. I scrolled onto a live one time. Like,
Mhm.
it comes up on your For You page and
Oh, that's the
I
worst.
I opened it by accident and then it was literally like an angle like you couldn't like people were you couldn't see body parts but it was at an angle where like you could see like people were like obviously people were having sex. I was like what is this? What is this? I am so scared. I need to get off
That's
of
like that's like voyeur talk.
yeah, literally, literally. I I wish I was like I read some of the comments because like I bet that would have been kind of interesting like on the live, but I was like I just this is you know what I need to go to bed. This is too much. What have I stumbled upon?
I need to get out of here.
Literally.
Is there anything you wanted to catch up on?
I think as far as it's so interesting. Okay, so with the Olympics being on, I just like I am so patriotic. Go America, get that
Mhm,
eagle flying. I am like I turn into the most patriotic person you've ever seen.
mhm,
Insert eagle voice. But I was loving the drama between Michaela Skinner, is that her name?
mhm,
Something Skinner. And she was talking about how she was in the Tokyo Olympics in 2021 and how Team USA in 2024 is just like not as good. She's like, besides Simone Biles, they are like, where is the work ethic? They're just lacking the same passion drive as like the previous
mhm.
teams and then when they won gold as like for
Team.
with gymnastics altogether. Simone Biles like posted a picture. She's like lazy, untalented, like gymnast or whatever. And then Michaela Skinner blocked her. I was dead. I
Hmm.
live for these athletes being like real people because they're not like they are not celebrities in a way. Like yes, they should do they need to be brand friendly, but at the same time they're also living their lives. They're like, yes, we're athletes, and yes, people look up to us.
Hmm.
Like we're also not afraid to like clap back on social media.
Hmm.
I was living for that.
And Michaela Skinner only went to the Olympics because she was a backup and someone had
Yes.
gotten hurt. So, like,
Yep.
it's not like she earned her spot. I mean, technically, yes, but she wasn't first choice. You're second choice, like, second choice.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing to come out and say. And then she did a like put a finger down if and she like gave her whole fucking life story
Boo
to just
hoo.
like garner sympathy. But it's I was like, that is so shady for
Yeah.
anybody to make it to the Olympics. Like, we don't need to like sit and like bash. I'm like,
Hmm.
I was shook. Don't know how you think people are going to respond to that. It
Mm-mm.
wasn't
It wasn't what she thought it was going to be.
brilliant. Like she thought she did something and
She did nothing.
she embarrassed
And
herself.
like you talk about not having hard work ethic. What about Sunny Lee? All of the
Immediately.
liver, correct?
Um, she had two kidney
Kidney?
diseases. Suni.
Suni
That's okay.
Lee. Two kidney diseases, gaining a ton of weight. That like as someone that gained a ton of weight from an autoimmune condition and got super that's fucking hard to work through
Yep.
mentally, physically, all of the operations that you go through. I obviously did not
She
look all this up.
it was pretty it was pretty
Intense.
fast and like kind of right after Tokyo. Um and her coaches and everybody was like, girl, basically the summary, girl, I don't know if you're ever going to be able to like be a gymnast again. Like she was so sick. And you're right
Hmm.
that not only does that take like a physical toll on your body, but a mental
Hmm.
toll. Um,
Hmm.
but I think what is something that's really important is these athletes they think in such a different way.
Hmm.
They have such a capacity that I just don't feel I could comprehend for how really tough they are and how resilient they are. And
Hmm.
I'm sure that played into her making that comeback and really,
Yeah.
you know, working her ass off to not start, from the ground up because obviously she had all this skill and it's kind of muscle memory. It comes back, but she had to work so hard. And same with Simone Biles. It's
All of
just
them.
incredible. Like, were you watching her interview with Alex Cooper?
Mm-mm.
So she did like a little sit down interview and was talking about her experience in Tokyo when she was about to perform vault, and it's called like the twisties,
Hmm.
and she was like, I know I'm going to do vault, but I have no idea what I'm going to do. Like I don't know what my body is going to do.
Hmm.
And the pressure she must have felt in that situation, and then to go out there and do the completely wrong routine, and then to feel
Hmm.
like, oh my God, she was like, I am going to be hated by America. Like, I'm just going to be hated.
Mm.
In that moment, I don't even know what she must have been feeling. That must have been such a
Yeah.
soul crushing experience.
Yeah, and it's just that's like life threatening,
Oh,
right? Because
100.
I mean, speaking from God, not being on the same level, not being on the same level. The amount of blocks I had in gymnastics when I was tumbling, like, were so bad, I stopped practicing and I only backwards tumbled on the floor at meets. Not a good thing to do because, like, you
Yeah.
need to practice that shit.
Yeah.
And there were times when I would remember like doing a pass, round off back handspring, and I would get in the air and then I would just like freeze and stop. And then like your only option is to like fall back onto your, upper back, your neck. Like that's scary. Like I know what that feels like. And when you have that kind of velocity behind your body moving at that speed, and your brain just stops working and you can't orient yourself in the air, like that is a recipe for like really bad serious injuries. Like
Yeah,
that's scary, very very scary. And I think that
it's
was
so
one of the
scary.
yeah, I think that was one of the best things she could have done was, pulling herself out and not putting herself in that position because, I feel like especially in gymnastics, like I feel like we're always from the outside perspective and being in it, like always just pushed to the limit for that moment. And there's not a lot of thought about the future. Like there's not a
Hmm.
lot of thought about like, okay, I want to be able to come back. Like I want to be able to do another year of this. Like I'm sure if that happened, like maybe I'd say 5 years ago, or maybe a decade, because that would be like two Olympics
Yep.
previous then. They probably would have been like, you have to do this. Like you don't have a choice, and then it could have
Yeah.
ended so differently.
So I saw it, I think it was literally this morning or last night, I can't remember, but her mom, like a POV of her mom getting the phone call from Simone because it was during COVID. So they were like no spectators allowed. So her family was watching in a hotel room. And she was telling her, she's like, you can't do this, and that's okay. Like, they will be fine without
Mhm,
you, but you need to think about yourself and you're making the right decision to stop. And
mhm,
so also she had a different support system that was like, you can do this, I
mhm.
know you can. Like her mom was like, I know my kid, like that is not her. And what an amazing support system to just.
And that wasn't her biological mom, correct? That's like her.
No,
I
she's
get
adopted. I
right.
believe it's her grandparents, but
Okay, I
maybe
thought
not.
so.
I can't remember, but she was adopted at, I believe, like a very, like she always knew she was adopted. And then in her interview with Alex Cooper, I think it was, she was saying like, I just thought everybody was adopted. Like when I went to school and people like weren't adopted, I was like, what's wrong with you? Not really, but like it's funny.
Yeah.
Um, but it could, you're right, it could have gone so differently. It could have ended her career. She could
Mhm.
have gotten so injured. You never know. And so to see her now talking about how she prioritized her mental health, getting into, recovering, and
Mhm.
just hearing her story is such a valuable thing for so many other young people, older,
Mhm.
whoever watching and experiencing from her.
Mhm.
I was literally like, I was in tears watching. I'm like, I'm a big sap anyways, but I was like sitting there and just like, I am so proud of her. I love her
Mhm.
so much. I just thought it was like so crazy cool.
Yeah, and I think it's, worth bringing up. I was talking to this girl that just so happened to work recently at one of my old gymnastic gyms.
Okay.
And she told me it's funny because the woman who was like the owner, head coach is still there. And she was telling me how she was having a conversation with her about this. And this woman who, mind you, was, leading hundreds and thousands of gymnasts through this gym was saying like how she was saying this is such a bad look for the gymnastics world. This is such I can't believe she should have just figured it, made it, done what she had to do. Like this is such a bad look. And she was going back and forth with her, like, no, this is really good. This is reminding, gymnasts it's okay, to have these things happen and to prioritize your mental health. And I was just like so stunned, like that this woman who was in my life for so long, like, had this opinion, wrong opinion, in my opinion, about like how bad this looked. And like in reality, this is like one of the best things that could have happened for a sport that is so tough. Like I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many times I would leave the gym crying. I would get kicked out for not doing what I was supposed to do. Like, it's a hard sport, mentally, physically, everything. And then to have someone show us like it is okay, it's good to prioritize things because then you can come back. And then hearing, one of the people that was really she wasn't coaching me, but like, being a head coach,
Yeah.
you set the tone for a place. And hearing like how against it she was, I was just like, that's a bunch of bull. Like that's not good.
No, it's not good. And there have been times where so many athletes push through and
Mhm.
the story ends much differently. Like especially if we
Mhm.
look at football players and CTE and I mean you don't know you have this until obviously after, if you die and they like look at your brain and
Mhm.
but there are so many situations where athletes just push themselves too far because that's the expectation. And she, one of the best athletes in the world, was like, you know what? I'm actually gonna like take a timeout. And that was
Mhm.
the hardest thing she, I'm sure, has done because you're on such
Yeah.
a pedestal, right? Everybody's watching you. And I just hearing her speak now and how she talks about it, and like she's such like a teeny little I think she's not even 5 feet. So like as she was sitting on the couch, like her feet weren't even touching the floor. Like I just love you. I'm obsessed with you. You are so powerful. You are just
Mhm.
an iconic woman, and she's 27. And I'm like, don't compare yourself to people because I'm like sitting here 27 and I'm like, God damn, my girl.
Different walks of life. But yeah, I no, I was, that was cool seeing that. And I'm all for some catty comments here and there against
Love.
people that are saying stupid shit to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, we should introduce our, you know how I'm like talking to you guys. We were like, we need to have like segments. We really want to have segments. And
Yeah.
this is a segment we are now introducing. It is born from Disrespectfully podcast. They do who's in your basement, and I love that. And it's like, who do you want to like throw down the gross like Pittsburgh basement, and it's damp, it's wet, the lights are off, there might be a serial killer in the corner, there's a toilet in the corner, and like no door, it's musty, there's probably mold. Like that's a Pittsburgh basement.
I'm envisioning. I have it. It's
And
locked.
there's like a light and it's like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, that's what they do. And who you're gonna throw down there and lock the door. So I was like, we need a segment like that. So this is the hot list of hate for the week.
Mm.
And this could be, we're going to say sometimes it might be health related, sometimes it might not be. So, do you want to kick it off or do you want me to go with mine first?
You go with yours
Okay,
because you were like, I have two. And I was like,
I do.
ooh, save it for the pod.
Save for the pod. So, first one, and this is like, I'm speaking to the people that are capable of doing this. And even like people that aren't capable, I have seen them do their best to accomplish this task. So, good on you guys. I My hate this week was going to Aldi and watching this person not put their fucking cart away, put it right in front of their car and just like walk back nonchalantly to the thing. I was just like, for those of you who don't know, you have to go to Aldi with a quarter. They do not pay someone to put the carts back. So when you leave them in the middle of the parking lot, you're creating a potential issue with someone hitting that or whatever. And you're creating work for the employees that like they have the cart system, the quarter system. You put your quarter in, get your cart, you put your cart back, get your quarter back. That's the whole point. And literally, the area for her to put her cart away was like, I don't know. You can't say 50 feet because I don't know anything dimension wise, but it was really close. And I watched her put it in front of her car and then get in the passenger seat with her husband, whoever. So what do? I walk to the side, like go to the car. I grab the car. I had glasses on, so you couldn't like see what I looked like. And I was like, look at them and make sure she sees me grabbing her car and I use it. But like, put your fucking cart away. Like,
Yeah,
you weren't capable. Like, you weren't in a rush. You weren't running. You weren't like, you were just being lazy. Like, that's the
yeah.
point of Aldi. Put your fucking cart back. So that's my first one.
I could not agree more. I get very frustrated with people that don't put their cards away. But
Yeah.
then sometimes I think about like if I have my cousins when they were smaller or the boy that I nanny, um, I sometimes don't put my card away because if I'm unloading stuff into the car and then I have to lock the car, because if I put my card away, the car gets locked. I don't need like some crazy
Yeah.
person getting into my car. So I gotta lock the
Yep.
car. I gotta bring the cart back. I gotta get him out of the car. I gotta put him into the car seat. And then if you have multiple kids, it's like I can understand maybe why a
Yeah, no, these
parent,
were
right? That's my asterisk, but anybody else that's like fully capable, put your card away, especially at Aldi. Like, get your damn quarter back. Like, what are we doing? So
mhm.
you got a free quarter, which is a sleigh.
Oh, I have so many free quarters from people doing that because I
Yeah.
always go and grab those carts because and then or I'll put two carts together and
Yep.
take them back because it's just
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? Like you're lazy. I hate that so much. So that's
I
number one.
agree. I definitely am. I follow Maddie's lead, and I go and
Mhm.
I'm not getting paid to collect the cards. I don't even get a free quarter. I'm just doing it out of the kindness of my heart. But I do get bothered by that, especially like, not to like be that person, but like I have a nice car. I don't want like random carts hitting my fucking car. So
Mhm.
put your damn carts away, losers.
Literally. Number two. So I got new blood work done, and from I don't know why I'm even doing this. I got a new PCP. I think it's helpful to have a PCP just in case,
Yeah.
like, depending on your insurance, maybe you need if you want to see a specialist, you need a
Referrals.
referral.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I think it's not a bad idea to have a PCP. Like at the end of the day, like I'm not going to them for advice. Let's be honest. So I got new blood work done with my functional coach, and I was seeing a new PCP, and she's like, "Oh, I want to see your cholesterol and this and that because you have a familial history of high cholesterol." Now, getting into the weeds of it, my mom has high cholesterol because she has a really low functioning liver. My mom has many issues with her health that were presenting in me. So it's very obvious to me to see like what she kind of needs to do with her health because like I have
Sure.
those issues. So like when you have a poor functioning liver, your body's not going to process the way it does. And if you have very low thyroid, it's because your thyroid is having trouble taking from the cholesterol to be utilized. So your thyroid, your cholesterol starts inching up higher and higher and higher because your thyroid's not using it. So if you have a low T3, it means you can't convert from T4 to T3. So everything is like everything is working in conjunction together. So I've been working on my liver for fucking forever. And in my recent labs, since being off Humira since beginning of May now, my liver enzymes, you don't want those high, have dropped a lot. So now we're like kind of like talking about my updates in my blood work. So anyway, liver looking great, fantastic. Thyroid still low, obviously not great. Cholesterol is high. We understand this because my liver is still trying to get back to where it needs to be, so it can't help the rest of my body, and my thyroid is having trouble converting. It's having trouble taking from the cholesterol, so my cholesterol's inching up. So that makes sense, right?
Yep.
That okay.
Yep.
So my cholesterol is high. I was talking to my coach about it. We talked about it, X, Y, and Z. We're going to focus on the liver, supporting the thyroid, all that good stuff. We're not even worried about my cholesterol. Now, modern medicine, unfortunately, when they see high cholesterol, they're like, oh my God, stop eating all fat. Stop eating all fat. That's like the number one thing. Now, there's a really, really good podcast I listened to about cholesterol. I actually might put it in our show notes just because like it was such a great episode. It really explained things in like layman's terms. Like when I was getting into this world, I was like, okay, I need to understand this better.
Yeah.
But your cholesterol, when you get blood work done, 80% of that number for like LDL, HDL is coming from your body, synthesized from your body. 20% comes from food.
Hmm.
So it's not like I'm sitting here eating fried food all the time. That's not the case. So keeping that in mind, it's because of what I just said. My thyroid is struggling to function. It can't take from the cholesterol. That's why it's getting up high.
Right.
So we know what to do. I get a call from the doctor, and it's like the nurse. And she's like, well, your cholesterol came back, and doctor yada yada wants you to really, really reduce your fat intake and cut carbs like immediately. And like it took me everything in my body to not be like freak the fuck out because like I have such a bad relationship with doctors
Yeah.
because of the trauma I've been through. So I really have to like tone back my anger and frustration and like hatred. Um so I was like, okay, and I was talking to Julie, my coach, about it. And it's funny because if you just reduce the shit out of your fat intake, That is not going to help your cholesterol. Of
Mhm.
course, if you go from shitty ass fat foods like
Yeah.
deep fried foods or, you know, I can't think of anything else. Just shitty crap, junk quality food. Yeah, that will help, but that's not the issue. And if I reduce my carbs like she told me to, that impacts your thyroid.
Yep.
So, my second person in my hot list of fucking hate this week is the PCP giving out the worst junk information. I will not be taking that advice. And you know what? I said, please tell Dr. Blank I will not be doing that. And I'm working with my functional coach to help my cholesterol and my thyroid. Thank you very much. Goodbye. I was like, I don't want to go back to her. Like, why am I even going for a checkup? Like, we're not getting new blood work done. Why do I need to go back in? So that is my second person, the hot list of hate, the garbage medical system, still feeding people shit help. There
And
we go.
I'm curious, did you give her your whole sort of history when you went in? Like, was she aware of a lot of the work you're doing?
Yes and no. She didn't ask
Mhm.
me one thing about Humira, and then I said, "Yeah, I was." We were talking about. I can't remember like what exactly was brought up, but I said, "Yeah, had an autoimmune. I had autoimmune like symptoms, and I believe I was misdiagnosed. I'm not on Humira anymore." And she like cut me off, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I saw that you were on Humira." Like it's so crazy how they don't ask anything. Like I
Yeah.
would be like, "What do you mean you like I'm just maybe I don't know, I'm a person that cares, a coach that cares. I'm very inquisitive. So when someone says something like, I think I was misdiagnosed, I'd be like, tell me more, you know? But
Right.
like she didn't, and I was like, yeah, I've been working on my liver and it's been really good. Like there was no like I think it's very much of like an ego thing with doctors because back in the day, think about it, PCPs were like they were like the almighty. Like you go
Right.
and tell your doctor something because like there wasn't as much help information, other sources to go through. So she was not inquisitive about anything with that, but she wanted me to get my cholesterol checked because of the familial history of it.
Yep.
Um, which it doesn't mean I'm going to have high cholesterol because my mom has high cholesterol, but it does mean there are probably some things that she transferred to me like Candida, which we're pretty sure she did through birth, that caused me to have issues later down the road, like a liver that's not functioning well, a thyroid that's not functioning well, all these things. So, I mean, getting the cholesterol didn't really do anything like tell me what we didn't already know?
Right. Right. Yeah, it's so frustrating because a lot of the times, like, if you want a referral and you want things like covered by insurance and all this sort of stuff,
Hmm.
you really do need to go through your PCP. But sometimes it's just like the only like visits that I find helpful are like going to the gynecologist and getting a pap smear. Hate it. Really
Yeah.
almost have a panic attack every time. But you need to take care of your body, right? So that's great. That works for me. Uh,
Hmm.
Therapist, psychiatrist, that works for
Hmm.
me. My PCP, I'm like,
Hmm.
hey girl, what's up? Like it just is like
Yeah, I'm like,
it's
I
hard.
might
It's
cancel
hard.
my 6-month appointment. What's the point? Like, I'll see you once a
Six
year.
months.
Just, yeah, I don't know why she wanted to do a follow up appointment because what's the point? If I'm not getting new blood, I don't need to see you to get my blood work
Yeah,
reviewed. Like, I got my blood work reviewed by my functional coach. Like, we looked
that's
at it.
that's weird. Yeah, I guess
Mm-hmm.
she wants to like draw new labs, but
Yeah.
sometimes like even my PCP will just be like, oh, if like you like if we're doing lab work or something, she's like, you can just go to like Quest or whatever, Quest Diagnostic or wherever you like want to go, and then just
Yeah.
just send it to me. Cause like she's like, you don't have to come in. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. PCP, I'm like, girl, sometimes it's like kind of a waste of money, but whatever.
Yeah, but yeah, I was just like, don't like literally her advice would make things worse. Thanks. No, thank
Yeah.
you.
That's so frustrating, especially, there are a lot of people that really trust their doctor like implicitly and just kind of like go with whatever they say. And if you
Hmm.
weren't educated, it wouldn't really solve your problem. It wouldn't solve the root of the problem. So
Mm-hmm.
it is really, ugh, that is on the hot list of hate because
Mm-hmm.
getting a phone call of just like, just do this. And it's like, actually, no,
I will not
not
be doing that.
gonna do that.
I'm probably on her like hated client of the
She's like,
patient of
oh
the
my
week.
God, like this asshole, blah, 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 on the phone. And you're like, oh my God, this asshole on the phone.
Well,
Near.
I think it's just the difference between being direct. I was like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think that's being rude to me. That's just being
No, no,
direct.
I don't think so either. I just think it's, I mean, even just advocating for ourselves as women
Mhm.
when we're
Mhm.
going against the grain, there is this
Mhm.
internal feeling that's like, ooh, I was like kind of a bitch. And it's like, no, you weren't. You
Mhm.
were speaking in a place of like having autonomy over your body and you're communicating,
Mhm.
and there's nothing wrong with that. But it is this like internal misogyny that's like, you need to be quiet and polite. And if you're not,
Mhm.
so I totally am loving the fact that you didn't even like yes her. Like I probably would have just been like, okay, okay, and like not
No,
done it.
I want her to know. I want her to know. I'm not following your bullshit advice.
You're like, put that in the notes, lady.
Patient is what is it? Like not denying, patient refusing treatment.
Refusing refusing treatment. I'm gonna need you to sign something so that we are not liable for refusing treatment.
It's funny.
Oh my God.
Who is in your hot list of hate for the week?
My hot list of hate this week was okay, it was kind of like last week, but it's still this week. It's myself. Because
Oh.
I fell down like
Oh.
the stairs the other week. Literally like I just missed one step and my I like sprained my ankle so bad. It's like still
We gotta
so
show the picture.
well, yes, insert picture here. It hurts to like walking is okay, but carrying like a 30 probably pound child definitely doesn't help. Um, and the other night I just could not sleep. I've been just like a little bit cranky because it hurts so much. I want to be in the gym. I'm trying to not make it worse. And probably if I haven't like if I wasn't on the phone like talking, I probably would have like realized that the step was down further. But my dumb
Oh.
like constantly talking on the phone and injuring myself. And it's something my mom does all the time. Like
Oh
I said,
no.
very clumsy. I don't know where that
Uh,
comes from, but I swear I'm falling all the time. I'm like bruised half the time. Like, Jesus Christ. I like look like I got beat up and I'm just falling constantly.
uh,
And I'm irritated with myself. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Just like pay attention. Because now I'm irritated that I can't like go on my hikes or go to the gym because
mhm.
my ankle is throbbing. And I'm like, not in my cute girl era right now. I'm in like my cranky bitch era because it hurts. So I am
Um,
hating on myself for not paying attention. Like, you dumb bitch.
yeah, little dumb bitch. You know what? I think this was a great learning experience for you. Do you think you
Did I
will
learn
not talk?
anything? No.
Are you going to refrain from talking on the phone and walking it?
No, definitely not. Because
Okay.
like my I was trying and this is where it's like, okay, you're dumb because I was trying to
Mhm.
get information quickly from my sister and I was like, I don't have time to text her because it was going to be longer to text out. I didn't want to send a voice note because I'm like, I need you to answer right now. So I call her. I get the information and as soon as like we're about to be done with the conversation, it was 2 minutes. I'm like missed the step. And I was like, I didn't like I don't know. I was in my own world. I was also in public. So like I'm just like, doing my thing, girl.
Oh.
I don't know. But like I think if there's a clumsy gene, we have it because my mom literally this like all the time. Not so much anymore. But she would always like be on the phone and like carrying the vacuum like up and down the stairs or whatever and like fall down the stairs or like
Oh.
we're always doing things like my sister,
Uh-huh.
her name is Crash Larrabee because like can't get on like she would always like crash on her bicycle when she was younger and like end up like intertwined in the bicycle. Like I don't know what's up there, but we just have some where I don't know. And it's not always that I'm not paying attention. I just like don't know what sometimes I'm just like where'd the ground go?
Mm. Where the ground go?
Yeah, like all of a sudden I'm like falling and I'm like, what happened? Like I don't even know. It's super weird. So I maybe this should be a lesson to me, but if I'm being honest, it
Mhm.
probably won't be. And that is just that's my own problem
Mm.
to deal with. But I'm a
Mm.
yapper. You know that. I love being on the phone.
I know, but one thing concerns me because I was like this too, of you saying I was in my own world in public, walking to your car. You gotta be careful.
Oh,
That is
I was
like
like, I would say I was
because
aware of my surroundings. Like
mm,
I'm so Maddie. I'm so paranoid. I always think like people are following me. It's the agoraphobia. Like my
okay, I could see that.
swivel, but it was the spatial awareness. I'm like, oh, there's probably like
Mm,
three stairs and it's two stairs and I wasn't looking down.
okay.
But yeah, I'm definitely not, knock on wood, I'm probably not going to be the one to get kidnapped because the swivel head. And even if I'm on the phone in public, I do make a point to like be extra crazy and like look around. But yeah, I am 10 out of 10 going to find a way to hurt myself.
We love that. We don't love that. We
No,
don't love that.
so and I like fell in the gym the other day. Like I fell over my dumbbells. I was like, this is so embarrassing. Like,
Oh,
what
I've done that
is
before
me?
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm
of course,
pretty
like
clumsy too.
what's the thing about like what's with people like not like being concerned? Like, are you okay? Like people don't want to get involved anymore.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I've fallen in public because I feel like I just haven't been in public that much to fall. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm also just like also paranoid. Like I can't remember what I was
Yeah.
listening to, but someone was like, they had a flat tire and they're on the side of the road and like
Oh,
someone stopped for them and I was like, I'm sorry, if
oh,
I see a flat tire, I'm going. I'm
yeah,
not stopping to help you. I
yeah,
can't help you. Number one. Number two, you're gonna try to murder me. Goodbye.
yeah, yeah. Like I can't. You're totally right. I can't help you. I don't know how to change a
Yeah.
tire. I could probably
No.
figure it out, but also like, aren't the nuts on like super tight?
Oh, I don't know.
I think like when you get your tire like put on in like a body shop, like they're using like a hydraulic like
Yeah,
powered thing.
yeah.
Exactly. So how am I supposed to have all this leverage to just use like a fucking tire iron, I think is what they call it. I always like think like if I was going to like defend myself, like if I like was like in a movie scene or whatever, I'm grabbing the tire iron. I feel like they're always hitting people with that.
Mm,
It's looking pretty intense. But yeah,
mm-hmm,
no, I agree with you. I am not going to be stopping. I am not going to be answering my door.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
Not
nope, not happening.
no, no. That is not going to be happening. Also, my other hot list of hate is
Mm, dude.
my current insurance provider because
Mm,
they literally, literally are like bleeding me dry to go to,
mhm.
I think I've told you before, but to go to therapy for 30 minutes, guess how much it is?
Is it a psychiatrist or like a therapist? Like what
Therapist, like talk therapy. Psychiatrist is different. We'll go to that one next.
okay, 30 minutes. 150?
Well, you overshot me. It's 90.
Oh. Okay, still 90.
That's fucked. It should be
But
like
why?
with my new insurance, it will be free.
Oh,
So
nice.
keep that in mind. Like 90 fucking dollars. I'm like, who can afford this? Like this is why people don't have
For
fucking
a
they don't
30-minute session
yeah, this is why people like don't
with
go to
insurance.
therapy because it's so expensive. And then for a 10-minute psychiatrist appointment, guess.
50?
120.
Wow.
I was like, this is so bad. This is so dumb. I don't even like care for my psychiatrist. I think she's just like really not the vibe, but I'm like, whatever. I don't need to switch because like
Hmm.
I just like it, I don't need to. It doesn't really make a difference. Um,
Hmm.
but I was like, girl, this is so fucking crazy. So I've been like I am gonna switch insurances for September. Um,
Hmm.
but I was like, this is so crazy. And like I'm definitely in a place where like I can pay for it. And like it is frustrating, but I can navigate it. And it just makes me so angry for people that are trying to seek certain types of coverage and being able to take care of themselves and they can't because they just like literally can't afford it. It's me crazy. I could go on and on about healthcare.
I get
It
it.
drives
I
me
get it.
crazy. It's so crazy. So those are my two qualms, if you will. One is myself, which I swear I'm not a self-loathing person. I just was a little bit this week because
Oh
I
no,
was
I'd be
mad at
pissed.
myself.
I like that we both have one with the healthcare industry because
Getting
I don't know if you realize it, like it
fucked.
fucking sucks. It fucking sucks.
Literally, it's like so not helpful and
No.
bleeding us dry and making us frustrated. So
Hmm. Hmm.
that is that. Is
And
there,
that's all that.
did you have anything you wanted to, any other updates or things we needed to talk about?
I mean, I feel like we've been blabbering on forever. We could talk about another thing I wanted to talk about, or leave it till our
Let's
talk.
talk
Why
about
don't we
it.
talk about? Well, I was gonna say, why don't we talk about the month? Because this is our beginning of the month episode.
Fabulous.
Oh, is it? Wait, no,
Yeah, it
it's
is. It
not.
is. Yeah, it is.
Oh, I'm thinking it's like the next like Friday of August. This is the first
Yes.
Friday of August. So let's talk about that, and we can keep the other one. Ooh, we can keep the other
What
one
was
until
that?
I dropped my phone. I was like, "Whoa!" Just don't look at my face when I did that. It was pretty rough.
Perfect, perfect. Don't look.
Um, yeah. So yeah, we'll talk about the other one next time. But
Okay.
what do we have going on this month? We have guest episode with Gillis, functional coach and educator,
Yes.
coming out next week. That was a really good interview. We went on tangents. I didn't think we were going to go on like his as a functional coach now, his experience being in like the modern medicine world and things that happened to him there, and his autoimmune things that happened to him. So that was really interesting. Interesting conversation. We have our deep dive after that, which I'm excited for. Allie is holding the reins on that one. That one's on, remind me?
I'm going to talk about greens powders
Greens, greens,
because if
greens, greens, greens.
you are a living, breathing person, you've probably seen on TikTok or Instagram like so many just like different greens products and people talking about bloating and being constipated and can't pooping and like, oh, I had my greens and blah blah blah. And
Mm,
we need to talk about them a little bit, right?
mhm,
We need to give you guys the information because
mhm.
I'll leave it at that. You can probably tell where this is going.
Yeah, so that's coming up, and then we haven't decided. I probably shouldn't like say it like this, but like we're still figuring out. We're
That's
still
okay.
Yeah, we're gonna hit our thousandth download this month. I'm excited for that.
Yes, I am
Yes.
so excited. And Maddie and I were like talking. We want to do like some sort like a some post about it just because like we'll talk about our things. We're celebrating, it's fun. And I was like, okay, we're gonna have to figure out how to like Photoshop us together and make it look like great together. And it's just like it's so funny because we talk on a daily basis and it's still like kind of funny to picture us like in our own lives, like living our own things and like not having actually like met in person.
It will happen for sure for your wedding, obviously, but before that as well.
Obviously.
Because
Obviously.
that's like forever from now.
I'm like, oh, did I invite you? No, I'm kidding. You
Bitch.
have got the save the date.
Oh, I did get it. I didn't text you about it yet, but yeah, it's beautiful. I'm not gonna. I won't show the back so no one can see that, but I do love the print on the back. That is
Yeah,
beautiful.
I designed
Like,
it.
so pretty. Give everyone a
Thank you.
close up. Look at
Oh,
those
yeah,
beauties.
that's us.
I love the color though. It's like sepia. Would you call it
It's
sepia?
yeah. So the photographer that we shot with for that, she'll be doing our wedding as well. I gave her like the inspo. I was like, I want like a handful of like artsy, like blurry ones. Um,
Hmm.
because those will more likely than not be the ones that like we put up in the house.
Uh huh.
Versus just
Oh, I
like
love blurry.
kind of
Oh.
like portraits.
Hmm.
So and she kind of just got the vibe. Like I sent her a bunch of inspo and it was actually super overcast that day, which is actually really good for shooting because like then you don't like you're not getting backlit and all that sort of stuff. So
Hmm.
I loved how they came out. The only qualm that I had, it was fucking like 90% humidity. So I had given myself like a blowout and my hair definitely fell.
Mm.
But like literally whatever, it doesn't
But
matter.
yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm like, oh, her hair is flat. Like,
Because like when I left the
uh,
house, I was like, oh my God, my hair is perfection. It was fine during the car within 10 minutes of being outside. And I had
it's
sprayed
like,
to the gods. No, it just, yeah, like I sprayed my hair like it was, I was like, this ain't moving. And then 10 minutes, 15 minutes into it, I was like, oh, we are losing volume, people. We are losing volume. This is not good. But
uh,
I'm so excited. Okay, so like literally once I like bought my wedding dress, I've had like zero anxiety. And I was talking to my therapist and I was like, so like what does this mean? And he goes, "Well, let's not look for reasons like why we're not anxious or why you are anxious because that's just going to like your brain is then going to just like look for chaos because like that chaos feels normal for me." So I'm just
mm,
living in the bliss of like not feeling anxious and just being excited. And he's like, it's so significant. Of course you're excited. And I'm like, you're right. Of course I'm excited. So I so excited. I cannot wait I think my friend who's also my consultant, she was like, it'll take like 5 months to get the dress to come in. So I can't wait to actually try it on like in the proper size because I
mhm,
feel like that just like be different. And I'm also, which is so
mhm.
special, I could cry. I'm wearing her veil as my something borrowed. And
Her veil?
yeah, my friend.
Aw, that's
She
cute.
like put it on me. She's like, I brought it to the store. If you don't want to wear it, you don't have to, but this is my veil. And I was like, oh my,
Aw,
on me. So
aw, that's nice.
I'm excited for like, I'm in the full swing of like planning and like starting to like really kind of nail things down. And that is like the August. That is the August of it all. I am like getting into very organized mode because
Mhm.
things are moving fast and I
Yeah,
am not going to be stressed for time. And so like so that's my August excitement. And then
nice.
I'm just looking forward to whenever you get your ass here. That'll be
I
my
know, I
that
know.
give me
It's
whatever month it
it's
is, that'll be my month of excitement.
I'm going to Denver at the end of the month, and I'm freaking excited.
You
So
thrive
that's
in Denver.
love, we love. So I'll be there for a while. What else do I have? I have two podcast interviews this month,
Mm,
so I'm excited for that. One is talking about my autoimmune stuff. So I'll be interested to see how that turns out. And the other one, I'm not sure exactly what we're talking about. Business
mm.
stuff, who knows? We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, excited about that. So it's a good month all around.
It's
It's a good
an
month for
exciting
us.
month. Yeah, I saw this TikTok and well, you don't like Taylor Swift, but she has a song called August. And so I just kept seeing these TikToks like me defrosting like this month and it's like the August music. And I kind of feel that way. Like as a kid or even in college, like I hated the month of August because
Mhm.
I
Back
am
to
really
school.
bad with transitions. Um,
Mm.
like I would vomit, like stress vomit the week before.
Wow.
I would like puke going to school, like always. And I mean, it makes sense now. Um, but I was unmedicated then. And so I always hated August. It triggered me. It still kind of triggers me. When I see a back to school commercial, I like literally get like anxious. I'm like, what? I was like, this is weird. So embracing because I do love the month of August. It's my dad's birthday.
Mhm,
We always go on a family vacation.
mhm.
It is just like August to me is summer. I love it. I don't know why. It's like close to Labor Day. Love Labor Day. Um, Labor Day weekend, I should say. So
Mhm.
I'm embracing my August energy and I'm trying to replace panicked memories with good memories. I've been like
Oh, I like that.
over the years, like after since like graduating from college, I like really tried to do that because August, I don't know, it's just like it's giving. Because then I love fall and then fall happens.
True. Yeah, and then I freaking hate winter. So that's where we're at. Going into
You need
that.
a winter sport. You do.
No. Oh, I would never do one, but
Why?
because at that's an injury waiting to happen. Hell to the no. You will not catch me trying to ski. You will not catch me trying to snowboard.
Bunny
You
slope?
will no, it's like I believe that if you're gonna get into snowboarding and skiing, you have to do that from a young age. Like you can't. It's like you're just waiting to get hurt if you started older because that's like a skill, right? Just like
Yeah.
gymnastics, you can like learn to like get into gymnastics, but like that, it's the speed and the velocity and not being able to control everything. I'm like, I
Like you
don't
do
need to like,
control it.
I don't
They
need to
teach
break
you.
my
You
knees. Nope,
don't need to
nope.
break your knees, but if you're listening
And
to this and you haven't skied, take a lesson. They teach you. You start with the French fry
yes.
pizza.
But see, the issue is I was gonna go snowboarding once, with my friend, and
Okay.
just to try it once, I was like, I'm not spending like $400 to try it once.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
That's
it's like you can't like gymnastics. If you want to go to an adult class, it's not $400. It's like $30. You know, I've done that a
yeah.
few times and they're fun, but like that's not a to me. It's like hard to like start something if it's such like a high cost to get into it. I'm like, what if I didn't like it? You know?
I will say it definitely is a luxury sport,
Hmm.
but living in New England, I have to do something. Like it gets dark at like 4 o'clock.
Uh huh.
It's fucking cold. It's snowing. It's like, okay, what are the options? Like sit home and like be depressed because it's like there's like no sunlight, or be depressed and force my ass to get up and go skiing and then at least like
Hmm.
have fun and like get out of a funk. And
Hmm.
it's just it's just what we do. Do I always love it waking up at like 5 a.m.? No, I'm like I hate waking up in the morning. I wake up nauseous if I wake up early. Do you do that?
No.
Ugh, nauseous every if I wake up early. Ugh, like 5 o'clock, I will vomit. I can't. And it's not even like I might not even be tired, but I will literally be so nauseous. I'm like, oh my God, I need like bread. Like I need to put food in my system. It's ridiculous. So that's
uh,
my only issue with skiing. But other than that,
you
I
crack
have a
me up.
moment.
I'm gonna end it with this before we keep yapping on forever. My Lean and Strong Forever program just launched. When you're listening to this, there will, I believe, still be a bonus or two left. I was doing a lot of behind the scenes launching, so my email list got some freaking awesome bonuses. But it is for women that want to feel freaking 35 at 65, that want to put
Like,
on their workout slay. Put on their workout clothes, be like, I feel freaking amazing. I have no worries about putting these clothes on. Have a plan when they're at the gym. Feel freaking amazing in their body. That's who Lean and Strong is for. So I will put the do I have a link for it? I think I have a link for it in the
we'll get a
show
link for
notes.
it.
We'll get a link for it. But there is still a bonus left. If you want to take advantage of it, go to that link. But I'm excited. It's been going great. So
You
that's
should do a
my
bonus for pod listeners only.
Oh, yes. I like that
Yes.
idea. Yeah.
DM Maddie pod if you're a pod listener
Yes.
and you want a bonus.
Yes. I love that. Good on Allie. Good, good job.
I'm just here with the ideas, the creative genius,
Literally the comedic relief, all the things.
whatever you need. I will transform into it.
You're just the everyday chameleon. Anything else you want to end on?
Um, Okay, it goes off of what you just said. Your Lean and Strong Forever program, feeling 35 at 72. What
Oh,
an
I like
amazing
that.
thing. I saw me and my sister were driving the other day, and there was these two like older women crossing the road. And I was like, oh, that's gonna be us one day. And she goes, hopefully not. I hope we're in better shape. And I go, yeah, you're right. Like, I hope like when we're like 75, 80, like we can stand up tall and we
Hmm.
can walk strongly across the street. And so
Hmm.
that was just something like when you're young and hot, you like don't always think about like who you want to be at 80, but ladies, think about who you want to be at 80 because I saw a version of that could have been us and I didn't like it. No hate to these women.
Nope.
I love you. I don't know you, but I love you. But I don't
Yeah.
want to be like that.
No, I want to be freaking be able to shoot a gun, protect myself, lifting weights still because I'm still always going to be lifting weights,
That's
getting
iconic.
myself off the ground
Yep.
because that is not an issue. I'm badass. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be crushing souls with my quads. Like that is my future.
I love it. I'm obsessed.
And I guess we will end there, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching Kind of Hot, Kind of Healthy. Please make sure to subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and share this with a girlfriend who needs to hear this. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere where you can stream podcasts. If you have a burning question about life, friendships, health, and 1 or 2 cents, email us at kindahotpod@gmail.com. That's KINDAHOTPOD@gmail.com. Bye.
Bye.